I'm getting a little one waving at me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and welcome to all of our Ukrainian friends who've joined us here today, as well as everyone here to remember the Holodomor. I'd like to thank those who are joining me up here, the Honourable Sarah Hoffman, as well as the Ms. Orysia Boychuk, Ms. Greta Deris, and of course Mr. Leonid Koronek. I also know there are many members of the Legislative Assembly here today, including Andrew Bochenko, who I believe is the first Ukrainian-born member of the Legislative Assembly who has joined us, as well as our Parliamentary Secretary for Ukraine Evacuees and Settlement, Jackie Armstrong-Homanek, who's done amazing work in helping to resettle 41,000 Ukrainian evacuees into our province, as well as Ministers Amory, Ellis, Furr, Lowen, McIver, Nicolaides Yassin, Dick, Hunter, Lunty, Pitt, and Van Dyken, as well as I see members of the official opposition. There are many, many people here today who want to show their respects. Death by hunger. Those three stark words describe the atrocity that brutally killed more than 10 million men, women, and children in Ukraine more than 90 years ago. The Holodomor was one of the worst genocides in the history of the world, a cruel, senseless, and lingering attack engineered by a communist dictator, Joseph Stalin. Over 2 years, 25,000 people died of starvation every single day, millions killed, a culture nearly destroyed. And yet for decades, no one is allowed to speak of it. To breathe a word of it meant imprisonment or execution. So the world didn't know, but we know now, and we will never forget. 15 years ago, the Alberta legislature passed the Ukrainian Famine and Genocide Memorial Day Act. It was a unanimous decision where MLAs of all political leanings stood shoulder to shoulder to ensure this murderous act would never be forgotten, and millions who died would always be remembered. It was also a way to honor the many generations of Ukrainians who call Alberta home and contribute so much and in so many ways to our province. This includes the more than 40,000 Ukrainians now in Alberta who have fled the illegal war that's been raging since the Russians invaded Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. To all of you, we vow to always be a good friend and an ally, as well as an advocate for peace and acceptance. Today we stand with our Ukrainian friends, neighbors, and relatives to support them in this more recent act of violence, and also say aloud what their ancestors could not. Holodomor was an unconscionable act of cruelty and a crime against humanity, and we will remain vigilant to ensure it does not happen again.